I've got a chainsaw that's not working and it needs to be fixed. So I got one of two choices. First choice is I can pay somebody else to do it for me, or I can practice a little modern self-reliance and do it myself. I did some research, bought the tools and stuff, the materials that I need, and I'm going to try to do it myself. So we're either going to fix this today or I'm going to end up having to buy a new body for it. So come on. Hey everybody, welcome back to Grumpy Acres. Like I said, I've got this chainsaw that's not working, and I don't feel like paying somebody to fix it if I can fix it myself. So we're going to try to get this thing back up and running. But before we do that, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and think about subscribing to the channel. Come join us on our journey towards a life done free. And if you're a subscriber, you people are the best. You make it all worthwhile. Okay, so what's the situation? So I have a Stihl M391 chainsaw. And what happened was the screws that hold the muffler on stripped out. The body on this thing is aluminum, and if they get over torqued or it's been a while, the screws have a tendency to strip out. And I had one strip out and it fell out, and then it only had one holding it back in. I put the other one in and it wasn't in there tight. So, and I over torqued the other side. And that's what happens. It's apparently on Stihl and other chainsaws, it's a pretty common thing because the lightweight aluminum that's used on the engine casing. So what I have to do is I have to make it so I can screw this muffler back on, because I can't do that if I don't have the muffler on. Number one, it's really loud. Number two, you run the risk of getting wood chips and stuff down inside the engine, which will completely ruin the engine. So how do I go about fixing this? Well, I did research and talked to the guy that does chainsaw fixing up at the local hardware store, and he's talked about putting a Heli-coil in. Well, I had heard about them before. I didn't know exactly what they were, so I did some research, looked them up, and decided I could do this myself. So what I ended up doing was I went on Amazon and I bought the proper Heli-coil set. I got one that specifically for the screws that go in here. And what the set consists of is it's got your Heli-coils and a little Allen wrench. It's got a drill, a threader, tool to seat the Heli-coil, and a little punch. There's a little tab in there that needs to be knocked out once the Heli-coil is set. And basically what you're doing whenever you do this is you drill a larger hole than the diameter of the original one, and then you screw that Heli-coil in and pop out the pin, and then it's set, and you can put the screw back in and have it set. And I watched some videos about it, and a lot of these this set right here, this Billet Tools, is one of the ones that got a really good rating on once it was fixed. You could actually torque it down harder once the Heli-coil was in than if you did it on the original thing. And I also, what I bought, and I think everybody should have this, if you've got a chainsaw, you should find your model number and get on Amazon. They make these kits that have screws and oil filters and pull strings and all kinds of little doodads that fall out of a chainsaw from time to time, and it just makes it really handy to have around, because you can fix these things as you go instead of having to take it to a repair place. And speaking of the repair place, the cost of the Heli-coil kit and the maintenance kit for the chainsaw was less than me just taking it in to have it looked at. Not even having it fixed, just me taking it in. It would have cost me more to do that than to do this myself. And like I said, if I can't fix it, I'm going to have to spend about $200, $220 and buy a new case for the engine. And apparently it's a pretty common thing. After all these years of using a chainsaw, I did not know that. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this a try. I did some pre-work on this. This piece of a paper towel, I'm sticking down inside the air intake or the exhaust for the muffler so that I don't get any wood metal shavings down there. I've got a torque tool so I can torque down I'm sorry, I've got a torque wrench so I can torque down the screws once I get it in there. I took and I did some pre-measuring on the holes there, and I took some painter's tape. Let me get this drill bit out. And what I did was I took a little bit of painter's tape and put it on the drill bit as a depth gauge, and I'm going to drill down twice as deep as the heli-coil, and then that way the heli-coil set and the screw can still go down there, and everything's good. Looks like a pretty simple project. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully I won't have to edit out a bunch of cursing or anything. So, all right, let's do this. Now, one of the key things that's important whenever you're doing this whole process is you need to make sure that your drill bit is going straight in. You don't want it canted off to the side, because then you'll end up with the screws not fitting in properly. All right, so we've got that in there. I could not find my drilling oil, so I'm going to use a little WD-40, spray it in there just to give it some lubrication and make it so it works better. Well, that was way easier than I thought it would be. That aluminum is really soft. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to take our threader and we want to thread that out so the heli-coil has something to grab onto. And some kits come with a little handle. This just has a little square piece on the end, so you can take a pair of pliers and turn it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to line it up square. And we're going to use our pliers to turn this. Again, we want to make sure that we're perfectly square. Okay, now I can feel it biting into the aluminum now. So here's what it looked like once I got the threader in all the way. You can see the metal shavings coming out, and I'll hit it with some more WD-40 and wash all that stuff out. And I'm going to go ahead and back that threader out, and then we'll put the heli-coil in. All right, so the heli-coil's in there. Going to make sure that the screw fits. Yep, okay. All right. Now, next thing we want to do get 2 screws. Stick this little flange back on there. It goes. Okay, make sure everything's lined up. There you go. It's in. Took me a little bit longer than I thought it would. Here's the test. All right. Well, there you go. Took me a little bit longer than I thought it would. Pretty easy getting the muffler back on. You can't see that one side. It's kind of hard getting it lined up, but it went on there and it seems nice and tight. I started it. It's not loose. I think I'll be cutting wood tomorrow because I got some stuff in the paddock that needs to come out. You know, modern self-reliance. That's the way we reduce stroke over us, and we make it so we can take care of these things ourselves. Buy the tools, buy the materials, get the skills, and learn how to do it yourself. If you like this video, go ahead and share it with people. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you know an easier way to do it than what I did. Most importantly, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You want to support the channel? Let's see. FoodForestNursery.com is a great way to get excellent rootstock for your homestead or your suburban lot or wherever. It's affordable. They've got a year-long guarantee on it as long as you follow their directions. Good people to do business with. All right. Till next time, go live a life done free. Thanks, Milo.